Of the many media properties, none is more an interesting beast than JoJo. A classic of Shonen Jump, it started being published on January 1st, 1987, and has continued to this day. However, with the anime, it's finally had its day in the sun over here in the mediocre states of America. Before then, the best exposure it had here was a Capcom fighting game, a high honor to be sure, and a truncated version of Part 3 done as an OVA. But like I said, the anime blew it up. Now most anyone who is a fan of anime or manga has at least heard of JoJo, and that has made many a fan. Many a very vocal fan, and like fans of anything, they will make references to it. It becomes part of their literary vocabulary, and if they are big enough fans, JoJo sort of becomes a benchmark for the enjoyment of other stories. Individuals making references ain't much. Sure, it can foster a large, dedicated fan base, such as all the fans of the former Zaibatsu known as Super Best Friends. Go to the subreddit and you will see people still going on about in-jokes, or making up brand new ones. JoJo, however, has a unique aspect to it. The fans will go out and find things that reference, or are related, to JoJo. They will go there and often point out said things, and others will either be confused or frustrated that their old dad rock band is being infested with weeaboos with good taste for once. To an extent, it's warranted. JoJo has been around for so long and has been popular for so long, others must have made reference to it. Heck, we as Americans probably consumed some kind of anime, manga, or video game that made direct reference to JoJo in some way. But now we have the context. So no more wondering why is there a watermelon. You got your personas, and the literal mechanic of personas is basically a stand. It's more nuanced, but basically stand. Not to mention, a lot of the setup of the fourth game is not too dissimilar to the fourth part, Diamond is No Crash, I mean Unbreakable. No Game No Life had a good number of visual references in its run, and how many anime parody type shows have characters getting a stand for a gag? JoJo is a pillar, man. A benchmark others are measured up to. A great piece of work that others have taken influence from, but if that was it, not much to say, just influential. Could almost be at the level of why anime characters write meat on a sleeping character's head. By the way, I'm pretty sure it's because of Kinnikuman, a pretty old but still good Shonen Jump series that had the main character, the titular Kinnikuman, that symbol was on his forehead. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments and say, no, you're totally right if I'm right in the comments. Just write a comment. You could also hit that subscribe button and the bell and yeah, you can like the video. That's a thing you can do. But that's not the only JoJo references out there. Like I said earlier, the fans will go out and find things that reference or are related to JoJo. They will go there and often point out said things, and others will either be confused or frustrated that their old dad rock band is being infested with weeaboos with good taste for once. Good times. Go look up some King Crimson. The songs Echoes by Pink Floyd, Roundabout by Yes, Tusk by Fleetwood Mac, or Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap by AC/DC, and look at the comments. You will probably find someone making a JoJo. Go on Reddit, find some high fashion. You know the kind, the stuff that looks totally ridiculous because it's kinda meant to, so designers can play with big concepts that they can pare down for more regular clothing. That kind of stuff. Look at the comments. Now, look at the subreddit. It might be related to JoJo. Heckins, lines from the story itself just slip into my everyday conversations. One of my default responses to, that's pretty dope, but like I got nothing really to say, is Naisu Caesar-chan. JoJo has broken my vocabulary. But here's the rub. Not everything partially related is a JoJo reference. But then again, it is a JoJo reference. Hold on to that thought for a moment. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the brainchild of one Hirohiko Araki. Oh, it's a beautiful baby. Perfectly structured to give bout after bout of bombastic and interesting action. But that's not the only reason to love it. Characters are rendered in brilliant detail, with very noticeable progression in art quality and style throughout the years. With wonderful posing that evokes the imagination, often taking references from classical sculpture, using Western music references for the names of several characters and all sans after Part 3, often hinting at a sensibility. High fashion also plays a role in the costume design, giving the characters a bizarre and otherworldly effect to them, making them feel more at home with the crazy battles and supernatural goings-on. Yet, in Araki's work, these all feel realized. He references all of them. These elements are weaved into the story so succinctly that you cannot separate them. They're just intrinsically part of it. It makes total sense for the zipper stand to be called Sticky Fingers. Look at that album cover. That character has to be called Robert Edward O. Speedwagon. And of course, a prisoner in the middle of bumfuck Florida names their invisible zombie stand Limp Bizkit. I cannot imagine this world without it feeling like this. Just look at the single issue of Diesel comic to see what JoJo is without references. All of these are tangible things in our reality. We know them, but in this world of JoJo, they're used to anchor the story to make the bizarre even more so. Joseph Joestar is a world-traveling adventurer, a noted and respected real estate mogul, has mystical breathing powers while also having a physical psychic vine that can access information, all while having a robotic prosthetic from the 1940s. But despite all of that, he's a fan of Weird Al. Jolene Cujo is not only the daughter of a noted marine biologist, but also the great-granddaughter of the last guy. She was framed for murder, has string powers like a Spider-Man or Don Flamingo Don Quixote. She's friends with sentient plankton, hold the Krabby Patty formula, and faces off with reality warping enemies in her story, yet she still wears Gucci. She was even a spokesperson for them. The real world elements are the solid foundation to make the absurd architecture all the more bizarre, but well founded. It becomes the straight man to the wacky hijinks of the reality we find our characters in. So these things are inherently and intrinsically part of the text. They are needed to understand the world of JoJo, so retroactively, they become JoJo references. To your average Joe Schmo, see JoJo, go oh no. It could feel like some chuckle fucks just injecting their fandom in random places. It doesn't go there. Why are you bringing it up now? Like just injecting and telling someone you're vegan, or you started a new diet called keto. They can feel like it's out of place and it doesn't belong. But to the fans, without the things they're talking about, there is no JoJo. It is part of JoJo. To some extent, many of these things, the real-world locations, the music, the fashion, they need to experience at least some of these things to get a fuller picture of JoJo. These details, no matter how small or large, make the world more complete. And in some ways, listening to the music or learning more about the locations Araki uses, it can kind of be like stepping into that world, despite how crazy it can get. Yes is still a band there. Gucci exists. There is delicious Italian cuisine. No matter how bizarre it gets, we still share these constant.
So yeah, it's a JoJo reference. Just don't be a dick about JoJo references. I think we can all agree on that.